It's discriminatory.
Has a disproportionate impact on women.
Very deliberate. It's intentional.
An important thing to pay attention to, and people who have reached the same conclusions probably would like to do something about it.
It's called the SAVE Act.
The new legislation would require documentary proof of U.S. citizenship
In person in order to register to vote. So that means providing a birth certificate or passport.
Anderson is my married name, and it has nothing to do with what's on my birth certificate. If I ever had to re-register, I wouldn't be able to do it.
This act is a common sense measure.
Proponents of the bill say it's a way to make sure non-citizens don't vote in American elections.
It's just not borne out in the statistics.
A Washington Post analysis
The report done by the Brennan Center for Justice
found only 85 cases involving allegations of non-citizen voting over a 2-decade period.
and found that it was a 0.0001% occurrence.
Voting fraud, election security, those are buzzwords because ultimately this overshoots that by miles.
It appears that there are 69 million women who could be affected who had a name change and therefore are not correctly registered to vote.
Isn't that what they want? They want women to get married or whatever?
The dress, the ring, the flower girls of this.
Many little girls have been told that they have to and always wanted to be that princess.
I have been pining to be married since I was about 15 or so.
One day when I get married, I'm going to have to change my name.
That's what you did.
No. And I would not, because I have 3 degrees. I work very hard to get where I am in this life.
Taking the last name of the man is just something that I don't agree with culturally or socially.
It's ownership, point blank, period.
How would you define coverture?
Well, quite basically, it was simply covering up the female form in all aspects of her being.
I was one of those people who picked up a women's liberation flyer one day who said, "Is this you?" And it had, "Are you depressed? Do you not know what you're..." And I'm like, this is me. This is lousy.
We had no rights.
The foremothers thought to say, okay, I'm going to put myself in the middle here. And I'm going to make sure that my daughters don't have to live like this.
We did a lot of things to try to push forward.
There were many, many facets to what women have been through in all of these years, and it's not stopping.
We already are seeing bodily autonomy threatened.
Women fought for so long to have autonomy to be able to make decisions about their bodies. That has been taken away.
Yeah, it's your body, but it's my choice. That's chilling.
Everybody said that would never happen. Well, it's happened.
This could happen again if we don't stand vigilant to the sacrifice that was made.
The fact that we have the SAVE Act now, when this started in 1838, that women started formally pushing for the right to vote.
They were pelted with rotten eggs or just eggs in general and anything that could be thrown.
College educated, like yourself, young college educated women being brutalized.
And they marched right on.
I think we have to recognize how much work this has been.
As you said, it wasn't in 1920. That's when legislation passed. But there were lots of hurdles to go through for women of color in particular, then women of class who couldn't get time off of work.
We had to fight for our right to vote. We had to fight not only for the right to vote, but also for non-predatory processes created to prevent us from voting.
We were 18 years old, and we said we had come to register to vote. And the circuit clerk said, "I'll bring you the section of the Constitution that you will need to write the interpretation of so we can see if you can read and write and think."
Sounds like voter suppression.
Of course it was. Of course it was.
The SAVE Act is a national voter suppression bill.
People were pushed out and they were told to go all different kind of polling places. And then by the time they got there, the polling place was closed.
It involves people being removed from voter registration roll calls.
They said the person was dead. I'm standing right. How am I dead? How is the roll saying I'm dead?
And making it where if you've changed your legal name, you have to go through a lot more bureaucratic barriers.
Anyone who has the ability to vote, who has changed their name to be more either in congruence or in accordance with who they see themselves. It doesn't even have to be on the merit of gender. It could be on the merit of who they love.
It's very traditional. We're both trans. I mean, I am the female and he is the male, so I'm going to take his last name.
Yeah.
Legally, I have not gone through a name change. It's something that, with things like the SAVE Act, I wasn't comfortable risking yet.
I'm speaking more from the transgender community's perspective as one subset of communities who would be impacted by this.
People who happen not to have a passport, for instance.
It's about $135 to get a passport. Plus you have to have the photographs, you have to have the time and the motivation.
Okay, you want to get a passport? Guess what? That has to be mailed to you. It takes months in some cases. So you have to live in the same address for a couple of months. A lot of people don't have that luxury. And the lawmakers in Congress, they don't understand because most of them have never been through a situation where they don't have a permanent address and they can't get a replacement birth certificate sent to them. They don't understand how difficult the system actually is for those of us who have lived on the margins.
And it also targets people who do not have citizenship status.
People are suppressed when they don't know what to do, when they're afraid they'll get in trouble if they do something, and so they lose their voice.
A good functional democracy hears from all of its stakeholders so that our laws, policies, and programs don't leave anyone out, but that everyone's experiences are included. Otherwise, you don't really have a democracy. You have a government pretending to be one.
Everything impacts you differently depending on your different identities.
The intersectionality proposes that what affects a person of color affects a person who is not cisgender, or affects a person who does not have a patriarchal role, or a person who does not come from a wealthy background. The advocacy for those independent issues, they are not there in isolation.
All Black people won't be free unless and until Black LGBTQ plus people are free, right? You free Black LGBTQ plus people, all LGBTQ plus people are free, right?
Intersectional advocacy is not just highlighting those voices who have been left out of the conversation, but actually fighting for them and what it means to actually have progress for all, where things are rights and not a privilege.
I'm in a privileged position. I am upper middle class. I'm white.
The idea of being aware of the separation of it, well, I can live indoors. I have a car. That doesn't bother me yet.
The SAVE Act is everything our civil rights leaders fought against. And don't think that it won't impact you or folks that you know.
But you know, us as women trying to run our own businesses, be independent, be seen, it's harder and harder and harder. We couldn't even elect a female president in this country.
There's a visceral reality that people from other generations know about what it means when you don't show up to the polls.
Your voice matters, and your say in our alleged democracy matters.
Oh, you can't take an election day off.
Oh, baby, I'm going to be at the polls, honey. I'm going to be in the polls, outside the polls, around the polls. If I can voice my opinion, I'm going to voice it, and I have a right, so I'm going to exercise it.
Christians, get out and vote. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians.
So, you know, when people tell you what they believe them, because it's not just a federal project. Project 2025 also has components that have already been enacted in state and local government, and they are seeking to do even more. So we all have to remain vigilant to ensure that we're not reverting back to 1765.
But the cards are not currently stacked in the favor of justice or diversity or even at its most basic fairness in America. I view where we're currently at as a low point in our country, but that is a relative low and not an absolute low. What we need to do now is to fortify our communities.
Your generation has wonderful tools, brilliant minds, and such a strong voice. I would just ask you, go out, find something, and engage.
We need to be loud. I know us. We need to be in the streets. We need to get in their faces. Change doesn't happen when we stay silent and we are complicit.
We keep hearing democracy is fragile. It is fragile, but it's also cumulative. And the more of us who are out there doing something, the more we're pushing forward and the harder it is to push back.
We don't have to agree on everything, but we have to agree that there's a problem and we want to solve it. Because if we're so divided, we're not even a threat. They just blow you away. When you have unity and you understand the long game, it becomes a situation which they can't win until the last woman standing, and there's still more coming.